Okay, so the way the scripting works is I took the default Mach 3 no ATC post. I just put a C on the end to differentiate it from yours if you end up taking it. And then what I did was replace anywhere that said coolant on with this right here, which is program block 1. So there's one, it's actually the standard starter file. This one up here isn't used. So down here, there it is, program block 1. Now, down here, there's the program block 1, but this coolant off was the one I was mentioning is not posting now because we're not using the coolant on. So I'll get to that in a second, but that program block 1 is the script, which is this down here. And all it's doing is looking for and getting the settings that will be put in the dialog that's in your the feature dialog. Now I'll get back to this because I'm going to go to that. So essentially what you have to do to be able to do that is, this is that post processor. Now that's the one we were just looking at. Now to use the scripting in a feature, you have to make a companion to that post processor, which is a text file with the name of the post processor dot, and then these represent the feature that you're going to use it in. So I just made one for all the features that you have, but for the example, I made just a pocket in the Bobcat file. So dot custom irregular pocket is the pocket one. So if we open that up and look, actually I already had one open. Let me just use that. There it is. What you put in there is, this is the UI of the advanced posting dialog that we're going to look at it in a second. Basically, it's like VB script for a checkbox, a combo box, which is the flood mist coolant, and it has a text label and the values. Now, what does all this stuff mean if you're not really a scripting junkie? Is let's look in the Bobcat. This is if I set up that post processor, which now has program block in it, assigned with the custom irregular pocket companion. When I edit that feature, I get this tab here, which is called an advanced posting tab. Now this is that text we were just looking at, which is a checkbox, some text boxes. This is a combo box, and if you see, the combo box for coolant has flood, mist, air, and none. And then that's in direct correlation to this here, right? So this combo box can be edited to flood, mist, air, and none. That's what shows up in there. So right now we're going to stick with the default so we don't confuse ourselves. But what this allows you to do is just, in any pocketing operation, you have this tab that you can go in and just say, don't output coolant. Now what that's going to output is what you see in the scripting, the program block, which is at the bottom of the post processor, and that's down here. So if we go down to that program block, it will output, if the coolant type is 0, which is flood coolant, or if it's none, which is this last one, else, it's going to output M09 with this / no coolant. So you can delete this words and / if you don't want, and just have it put in M09. So let's look at that real quick, which is, let's say none. Finish that. Let's post code for that. Post. And let's look at the code. Edit. It's going to pop up on my other monitor. Oh, no, it pops up on this one. So there now, because that program block, wherever program block 1 is listed in that post processor, is where it's going to output the results of this script down here. So right here at the, in this line right here, the program block 1, that's where you'll see right here the M9 flood coolant. Okay, so now if I change that to edit flood and then repost, that's when you get M08 flood coolant on. So that's how it just gives you the ability to turn the flood coolant variable on and off from just within your feature. Okay, now the only problem which is what I stated in my last post, is the where's your post processor? Right here. Because we're not using the coolant on variable like we did, and we're using the program block one, this variable down here at the tool change, coolant off, this is no longer outputting anything. So, eventually we'll figure something out. What we could do here is create program block 2 that then looks at what this variable up here was set at. If it was set at none, we could say output nothing, because you don't need to do anything. If it was set at make flood coolant on, then you could have program block 2 output coolant off. For the purposes of, like you said, though, we could just hard code M0, and I don't know, what was it, 8 is off. And so right here at every tool change, anywhere where coolant off would need to be set, like end of file right here, we would just hard code M08 or 9, whatever the heck the thing was, in quotes. You put M08 in quotes. So if I save that now, oh, I didn't do it in the one that I'm using, darn it. Okay, here, let's do this here. Hold on. So anyway, well, you get the drift. Then what would happen is right here, so let's say I put flood coolant on, so you would want down here, this would have to be, there's no flood coolant off when you're coming to the end of the pocket to go to the next tool change. But right here would just be an M08 if we hard code that in with the quotes. So you would, but then if you hard code it, no matter what's going on, it'll always put the M08. You said you didn't mind. Some guys like to be super clean and slick. So there's a way to do both. The easiest thing is just to hard code the coolant off anywhere where coolant would need to be going off, like at your tool changes and at the very end of your program down here too. So again, since you said you don't mind, what I'm going to do is post up a file that contains basically all of these. Now, how come you have, let's see, from there down to here, these cover all the features you might use. Now, if all you're ever going to use is a profile and a pocket, then all you need is this one here, and I think the profile is custom contour, right? But if you want to load up a slice planar and still have that dialog too, then you'll need to have this one, and this one, and this one. I mean, they're essentially, though, all of them have the same code in it, which is, this is the UI for that advanced dialog. So I'm going to send you a zip file, this one right here, that contains all of these that cover all the features that you'll load up, and then this is the post processor that you could use that has that. That all I did was replace anywhere that says coolant on with program block 1 again, which will then run that. It will give you that dialog in your features to be able to either have coolant post on or coolant post off. Now, after we do that, if that works for you, if you're not up to speed on how to get rid of like that text because you don't want that text, or you say, I want to get rid of all these dialogues except for the flood coolant one, then we would delete those. But what we would have to do is definitely make sure we modify the scripting block down here. First, we would modify the, excuse me, my screen. So we would have to make sure we modify these so that the proper integer is called, for to pass everything properly, and we could delete anything else because you're not doing mist and air, and you're just doing off and on. And then also, if you don't want that text to come in, you would just delete that and make it, like that. Okay, so same thing, with the on one. Actually, 8 was on, so 9 is off, right? So that's what you would hard code in. So again, let me just send you the file, and then if it works and you like it and you want to use it, then we will look at customizing it to clean it up more. So because right now you got this feature, maybe you just want to go, I mean, if you want to just go to town, don't change any. Who cares what any of this stuff is? It's not working. It's not doing anything for what we're doing. We're only using this. But if we want to just change it, we could delete all these other values and only have this value right here, which is the coolant on and off be going in and out. But that'll take a little configuring around, and I didn't want to go through figuring that out if it's not something you wanted to use. Okay. So there it is. I'll post up the zip file. Let me know where you want to go with it. So maybe I didn't cover it. What you want to make sure you do is in that zip file, all these go in alongside of this post processor. So you'll in your posting folder, your Bobcat posting folder, you'll have all of these, which is the same name as this one right here. Now, if you want to change the name of this post processor to not be what I named it with just this little C at the end, all of these right here just have to have the exact same name as this one. That's how they attach to each other. So you could just change this to 1, but all of these would have to be named 1 also. Okay? Let me know. Talk later.